You know I gotta stay ready.
That's right.
If it's war, then we pulling out the bows. Strictly for my knockers, represent the stronghold. Better put your shield up when my arrows unload. Let's get one thing straight, blackjack will never fold. If it's war, then we pulling out the bows. Strictly for my knockers, represent the stronghold. Better put your shield up when my arrows unload. Let's get one thing straight, blackjack will never fold. Feather in my hat, blackjack, pull a dart from my back and lay a up out flat. American on my map when the trap hop out. Catch a colonizer lacking, we gon' rip off his scalp and pull his eyeballs out. Send him back where he came from. My knockers stay dangerous. Pack their ass on the ship and send them back to England. If it's war, my knockers then line up. Only real knockers slide with us. Let's tribe up. If it's war, then we putting out them bows. Strictly for my knockers, represent the stronghold. Better put your shield up when my arrows unload. Let's get one thing straight, blackjack will never fold. If it's war, then we pulling out the bow. Strictly for my knockers, represent the stronghold. Better put your shield up when my arrows unload. Let's get one thing straight, blackjack will never fold. Solid gold, they goose, the black magic, pop a bowl. I was told they labeled you a savage. Strictly for my knockers to slaughter a Babylon. Pull a sword from the stone, my knocker, the house of cons. I bet you I make change. I bring pain. And if you got your peace pipe with you, then fire up. Only real knockers sliding with us. Let's try, but if it's war, my nigga, hit the like, subscribe, share the video. We about to get busy in less than 3 minutes flat, my nigga. Try butt with me. Robin Nelson in the house, Mo Nog in the house, salute, try butt.
Dummy, you big dummy. 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 You big dummy.
Hey, great day. Welcome to the House of Cons. I'm Blackjack. Tribe Buck with me. Robin Nelson in the house. Mo Nog in the house. Salute. Tribe Buck. Tribe Buck. Y'all hit the like, subscribe, share the video. We gotta get show lined up. Title of the show. Let me turn the music down a little bit. You know, we like to keep it kind of crunk for the intro. We're gonna drop it though for the show. We're gonna drop the music down. And it is Sunday, October 1st, 2023. Year moving right on by, ain't it, y'all? It's just floating right on by. Floating right on by, my nigga. Title of the show, Original Letter from Columbus, announcing quote-unquote discovery of America, my nigga. Salute. We're gonna talk about it. We got this letter, y'all. We done got a primary source. We got the drop on them. We got Columbus' primary letter announcing his quote-unquote discovery of the true old world, the so-called new world. Salute. And we gonna connect some dots along the way, of course. You know, I ain't gonna hold y'all too long. I know some of y'all doing what you gotta do on the weekend, you know, having your little fun with your family and your friends. But I want to touch on something real quick, man. I saw this article, and we're gonna talk about it. Salute, Tribe Buck with me. Let's go straight to it. But now, before we go straight to it, let's look at that thumbnail from a third eye point of view, not a bird eye point of view. Yeah, we got the House of Cons logo on the bottom of Naga, and we see the Naga, and we see some depictions in the background. You know, they looking pretty whitewashed to me. Chief Jadiga in the house, Tribe Buck. Looking pretty whitewashed in the background. Doesn't look too authentic. Doesn't look too historically accurate. We're gonna talk about it though from a third eye point of view, not a bird eye point of view. The main thing we see is the Naga. The Naga superimposed in the front, feathers up, the Naga Tribe Buck. We know what it is. They know what it is. And need to play no games about it. So let's get into this article. And right now we on the Guardian. We on the Guardian.com, my nigga. TheGuardian.com. They're talking about support the Guardian. Nah, support the House of Cons, man. Matter of fact, man, if you want to support, we got the cash out at the bottom of the screen. Cash.app/house $House of Cons. We also got memberships on deck, man. Tribe Up with me on the membership, fam. Lowest $2.99 a month. And we also got merchandise at www.strictlyformynagas.com. And we're going to put it in the chat right now. Salute, strictlyformynagas.com. If you want to become a member, hit the $ in the chat. Click on the memberships. Or you can hit us up with the super chat. Either way it goes, if you want to support the house, those are the multiple ways you could do so, my naga. Hey, we strictly for my nagas over here. Tribe Book. Salute. And we on the Guardian.com. Original letter from Columbus. Not for sale. Okay, I ain't buying nothing from these people. I don't know what they're trying to sell me. Alright, original letter from Columbus announcing quote-unquote discovery of America goes on sale for the first time. And this is from the Observer, colonialism, right? From the Guardian. The explorer is widely thought of. He's thought of as an explorer today and didn't know east from west. He knew east from west. He knew where the hell he was going. But a version of his boastful missive is expected to fetch up to $1.2 million at auction. Okay, third eye point of view real quick. I'm glad we got time for this. We got time for this. They want to show us these fake Indians and these whitewashed colonizers, all these whitewashed images. But let's go on and look from a third eye point of view while we at it, since they want to show us the fake whitewash images. They want to whitewash the Naga. Let's go and take a look at it from a third eye point of view. They got, look how they being depicted. Feathers up, loincloths on. These loincloths are not even feathered, which we know our people had feather and cloth loincloths. And they showing the colonizers. Look at that funny looking nose. Funny, and his forehead connected with his nose. He got a forenose. He got a go-ahead forenose, just like his pale-faced brethren. And speaking of pale-face, my, the so-called Indians are very pale-faced. These would be called Europeans also, or other words, Eurasians. They don't look like Indians to me. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, because we know when we're looking at the real Indians, we know what it was about, my nigga. It was the copper color races, also known as colored people. When we see the real depictions of the Indians, we get this. Draped in this gold. Let's get back to the article. And let's read the caption. The first of the exploiters rather than the first of the explorers. They call him the first of the exploiters. A depiction by 18th century artists. They say it's a depiction by 18th century artists. D.K. Bonatti of Christopher Columbus with Native Americans. Photograph heritage images. Okay, so D.K. Bonatti is a big liar. He must be secret society, probably a Mason. He probably worships at the synagogue. He made these fake depictions of the American Indians and of Columbus. Scooty Mayo just did a video about Columbus' true ethnicity. He ain't even Italian. He Portuguese. He a Portuguese synagogue worshiper. All right, in 1493, Christopher Columbus wrote a letter that would change the landscape of the modern world. I sailed to the Indies. Yeah, you knew where you was sailing. He started the letter right off. I sailed to the Indies. That's why they called you Indians. They didn't call you Indians because of your skin color. They didn't call you Indians because you had feathers on. They call you Indians because where they found you at and what Columbus knew he was headed to. The true old world. That's why they call you Indian. Indians was nothing about you being dark skinned and nappy headed. It was nothing about a red man with straight hair. Indian was about the location. He sailed to the Indies right off. In 1493, Christopher Columbus wrote a letter that would change the landscape of the modern world. He wanted to change the landscape. He wanted to say, no, this ain't Shem's lot. This lot belongs to Japheth now. Salute. He wanted to change the landscape of the modern world. I sailed to, quote unquote, from Columbus himself. I sailed to the Indies. What Indies, Columbus? What Indies are you talking about, Columbus? I think we know what Indies Columbus is talking about. I think we know. Columbus said he sailed to the Indies, Monaga. Columbus said he sailed to the Indies. He said, what, the West Indies or the East Indies? He said, I don't know. That's neither here nor there. He said it's all the same to him. He was traveling to India Superior over in America, Monaga. That's what he meant when he said the Indies. Columbus said East, West, what's the difference? Just split the map around. He said, we'll call them West Indies, whatever. That's what Columbus said. He said he was going to India Superior. So he said that he said that in his own words, I sailed to India Superior with the fleet that illustrious king and queen, our sovereigns, gave me. When I discovered, he discovered a great many islands inhabited by numberless people. So America was not uninhabited. So it was so many people he couldn't even count them. In his own words, Columbus wrote, it was inhabited by a whole bunch of Nagas. Numberless. That's what Columbus wrote. Let's get an understanding here. Let's take our time. He wrote after his return to Europe to Royal Treasurer Louis de Santander, of all I have taken possession for their highness, of all I have stolen and hijacked, took possession for their highness, of all that I have robbed, killed, enslaved, and stolen for their highness, to their highness. The events relayed in the letters were the first report of a voyage that really did change the world, says Columbus biographer, Professor Felipe Fernandez Armesto. Felipe Fernandez Armesto said Columbus changed the world. Now a rare 1493 Latin translation. They say this is rare. It's from 1493. They say this is rare. Now a rare 1493 Latin translation of the letter. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me they got a 1493 letter in their possession? Printed on an early printing press. Hold on. They was printing in 1493? Let's read that again. Let's make sure we ain't tripping. Now a rare 1493 Latin translation of this letter, printed on an early printing press to swiftly convey news of Columbus's discoveries, quote unquote discoveries, to elite Europeans, not just any old European that can't read, not just any old peasant, not just any old convict ship European, not just any old indentured servant European, not just any old indentured slave European. No, the elite ones is expected to fetch up to $1.2 or $1.5 million at a Christie's auction this month. In current times, Columbus has lost his former status as an honorary All-American hero. Oh, he lost his status. I wonder why. I wonder why he lost his status in current times. People are starting to read. And a quasi-founding father, quasi. They say he's an American hero and a quasi-founding father. But notoriety rarely hurts one's market value, especially in the U.S., writes witness Donald Trump, says Fernandez Armesto. He want to go political. Columbus had no idea that at the time he was the first European. Let's start that again. Let's slow down. From their words, Columbus had no idea that at the time he was the first so-called European since the Vikings. Who said the Vikings? Who said the 6 kings were Europeans, Monaga? Who told you that? Who told you that? Who lied to you? Who said the Vikings were Europeans at all? To encounter North America. He thought he had traveled he didn't think he traveled to no islands near Japan. He told you in his letter right at the beginning we just read, I sailed to the Indies. This is what Columbus said. Columbus said, I sailed to the Indies. What Indies? India Superior. So why are modern day hijackers, hundreds of years later, like Felipe, Ernesto, whatever his name is, why is he putting in his words? And he says, in his words, he says Columbus had no idea. Who said Columbus had no idea? Columbus didn't say he had no idea. Columbus said he was traveling to India Superior. Why are you saying Columbus had no idea? What are you trying to hide? At the time, Columbus had no idea. You are trying to hide something. What you trying to hide? He knew exactly where he was going. That he was the first European since the Vikings took account. He didn't think nothing. He knew he had traveled to India Superior, to the islands near Japan. But what Japan? What Japan that we speak of? Old world Japan? Or the new fake Japan that's over there? But his voyage created for the first time a viable, commercially exploitable route across the Atlantic. A viable, commercially exploitable route? How? When it's twice as hard to come over here as it is to go over there. How was he seeking a viable, commercially exploitable route? There's nothing viable about a journey that's twice as hard to take. You knew where you was going. But his voyage created for the first time, across the Atlantic and opened up communications between long sundered cultures, on either side of the ocean. Fernandez Armesto says. This is what Fernando says. This ain't what Columbus said. This is what Fernando says. The letter praises the rich natural assets of the islands, Columbus encountered. The letter praises the rich natural assets of the islands, like tobacco, gold, cotton, sugarcane, nagas. He said he was rich and all of that. Animals, food, corn. The letter praises the rich natural. The letter praises the rich natural assets, Managa. Columbus was praising your rich natural assets. You are rich, Managa. Their money means nothing. Columbus was praising your rich assets. On the islands Columbus encountered, and the port, and he portrays the extraordinarily timid native people he met there as so unsuspicious and so generous. So generous. Columbus said you was unsuspicious and so generous. They are fools. He called you a fool. Columbus said he rolled up on you And he said you thought it was sweet. You wanted to be friends. You wanted to be equal. You wanted to get your swirl on. You wanted to mix out. You wanted to do all that. You thought it was sweet. Columbus went back talking about you. Columbus said these big dummies. He said they thought it was sweet. Columbus said the American Indians are generous. He said they thought it was sweet until we come and doing diverses. He said they thought. He said they are generous. Columbus said you Nagas is generous. He said you Nagas is just so generous. He said they are fools. He said they are idiots. He said they are big dummies. He said you Nagas is fools. He said you too generous. He said you too friendly. He said he said they ain't racist enough. That's what Columbus said about you. This is what Columbus said about you. He saw you plentiful. He saw your pearls. He saw your golds. He saw your jewels. He talked about you bad. He's praised all your resources though. And called you a fool with it. It is now seen by historians as a piece of propaganda that heralds the start of the European colonization of the true old world, Managa. By exploiting the resources of this apparently so-called new hemisphere, European countries, quote unquote new, apparently quote unquote so-called quote unquote new hemisphere, European countries would finally start. The broke, poor, dirty, rotten European countries would finally catch up to China. Islamic nations in India and power and wealth. They was dirty, rotten, poor, indentured slaves. And they hijacked your stuff to catch up with everybody else. While also enslaving and exploiting the Indians. Enslaving and exploiting not people all over the world. People in America, people in India superior. That's who he slaved and exploited. Don't try to blend it all in now. Don't try to say all over the world now. No, you exploited the American Indians in India superior. And how they look, what they look like. What did they look like? You called them fools. How they look? You had so many names for us. You got a mountain of evidence, and my Nagas in the mountains looking down, ready for war. They say they finally caught up with the rest of the world. Less than 500 years ago, about 500 years ago, they finally caught up with their broke asses. And enslaved you the whole time. Like him or not, you can't deny Columbus's importance to Europeans. Like Fernandez or Ernesto says. It's a fake ass picture. The document has been in private Swiss collection for nearly a century and is described by Christie's as quote unquote the earliest obtainable edition of Columbus's letter, whose international publication triggered one of the first media frenzies for the printed word. Imagine that, Managa. Imagine that, right? Imagine that, Managa. That's it. The significance of the letter is its wide diffusion thanks to the printing press, says Professor Jeffrey Simcox from the University of California, Los Angeles. Using what was then cutting-edge technology, the Spanish crown sent copies to the courts of Europe to state Spain's claim, says Simcox. The news circulated rapidly, not just through diplomatic channels, but mercantile channels as well. Yeah. News spread it rapidly. Look at that. Look at that. Now, hey, they funny. Now look what they showing. Look what they showing in the ad. Look what they showing in the ad, Managa. They showing a Bone Savage statue in the ad. See, these people got jokes. You letting these people play with you, Managa. You gotta be a fool. You gotta be a fool if you think the Indian is anyone else. Look what they showing in their ads. I had to pause for the calls. It just caught me slipping with this. They know exactly who you are. They know exactly who Columbus enslaved. First deal say, yeah, they talking red, man. First deal say, yeah, this old fake shit. First deal say, let's show them what it really looks like. Oh, what a coinky dink. What a coinky dink. They said, what they said up here real quick. They said by exploiting the resources and enslaving and exploiting the people. Doom diverses, Managa. That is doom diverses. He called you a savage. He said you was a fool. He said doom diverses applies to the Americans. He said Papa Bull, doom diverse. 40 years before Columbus rolled his monkey ass over here. 1452 by Nicholas V, he issued the Papa Bull doing diverses. He say, we wear all in singular the premises with due meditation, and noting that since we had formerly by other letters of ours granted amongst other things free and ample faculty for the aforesaid King Alfonso to invade, search out, capture, vanquish, and subdue all American Indians, all American Negroes. Subdue all y'all. Take your land, your farms, your daddy farms, and your granddaddy farms. He said, take them all. He said, it's yours now. He says by our right to invade. He say, and other enemies of Christ, other enemies of Zeus, wherever so place, and the kingdoms, dukedoms, they kingdoms, they land, they dukedoms, they farms, they principalities, they dominions, they possessions, and all movable and immovable good. You can't move the land and immovable goods. And matter of fact, we want them too. They are our slaves now. We own y'all and y'all land. Fishing with Camo Joe in the house, tribe up. And the advertisements playing games, showing you, yeah. They talking about the knockers. The advertisement winking, playing game. Look at that. They cleared it up. They heard them talking about it. hey, look who they targeting in the advertisement. This is so funny to me, man. This is so funny to me. The significance of the letter is wide. Yeah, I bet. Using in cutting edge printing presses in 1493. The impact of the text demonstrates just how good Columbus was at public relations. He was good at lying. According to the Cuban American medieval historian Professor Tio Ruiz, he made sure everybody knew what he had done. That he see, it's how they told on themselves. They gotta brag. They gotta call you names. Brag about what they did. He out there boasting. Columbus doing drills, and then he making drill rap. Columbus out here making drill rap, bragging about what he did in America. He's self-snitching at his best. They say he made sure everybody knew what he did, and that he had reached the islands of the Indies, India Superior, a collective term for India and the Far East. The Far East, which of course, he's talking about, look at the disclaimer, which of course was not true. They gotta throw disclaimers on there. They gotta throw their disclaimers on there. Yeah. Oh, it's not true. You sure it's not true? You sure Columbus ain't know he was going to India Superior Monaga? You sure he ain't know he was going to the true Far East, to the Hebrew East? You sure Columbus he brought his Hebrew interpreters? You sure he ain't know he was going to the land of Prester John Monaga, the Grand Goose? You sure that ain't where he knew he was going? The land of Prester John. Lost, he said to rule over the nation, lost amid the pagans and Muslims in the Orient, in India, in the Orient, part of the three magic, What you thinking? You thinking we ain't connecting dots on it all? They made sure everybody knew what he was doing, man. Which of course, early explorers had been unwilling to sail west because they didn't dare risk being unable to. Yeah, it was too hard. It was twice as hard. So why would you run with a lie saying he was looking for an easier route to India? They tripping over their own lies. All you gotta do is slow down and think about it. They throw the lies out so fast that they forget what they lied about. But Columbus, who was the son of a weaver and is self-taught as in, I don't believe that. His explorer had made a series of wild calculations. I don't believe that. They're not wild calculations. He knew exactly what he was calculating. He had evidence. He had sources. Without standardizing, he was reading Plato. He knew where he was going. Measurements. And concluded the world was 25% smaller than it is. No, this is hijack. This is it. This is Naga-splaining right here. This is Naga-splaining. They're trying to cover up stuff with all that. Skip that paragraph. In the classic case of confirmation bias, as soon as he reached the land, now they want to call it confirmation. They want to call Columbus a classic case of confirmation bias.
he claimed, no, he didn't claim, he knew to be in the Far East, Managa. And in fact, he arrived in India Superior. They want to say, in fact, he arrived in the West Indies. You calling it the West Indies? We know it's the true Far East. We know it's India Superior. Then he visited Cuba, Haiti, and San Domingo. Yeah, we know. Talking about he thought Nagas was so friendly and generous. You friendly ass Nagas. He knew exactly where he was going. He knew he was going to the true Far East. He knew where he was going. See the Emperor of the Abyssinians. He knew exactly where he was going. To the land of Prester John. He knew where the money was at. He just bumped into these islands, yeah. He just bumped into the islands now, y'all. He just bumped. And look how they gotta make all these assumptions. Look at these writers. They got so much blood on their ancestors' hand, and they feel so guilty that they gotta make assumptions like we so stupid to go for it. Yeah, he just happened to bump into Cuba and enslave the niggas. Yeah, he just happened to find San Domingo, Haiti. He did not know. He had Doom Diverses. He had the letter Doom Diverses with him. He brought Hebrew interpreters. He didn't know what he was. He didn't know he was going to the land of Prester John. He didn't know. It's cover up, y'all. An intrepid settler. They want to try to brag about him. He ain't an intrepid nothing. He's an intrepid liar. That's the only thing he was intrepid at, was lying. Columbus had managed to capitalize on the Earth's prevailing winds by charting a southwestern course to the American continent via the Canary Islands. I thought he was trying to go somewhere else. But now he was an intrepid sailor and charting through the Earth's prevailing winds, and he charting a southwestern course to the Americas. Y'all gotta make up y'all mind.
You big dummy.
Y'all ain't know we break down documents when we read. Y'all thought we just gloss right over it, huh? You thought we just read real fast, huh? Yeah, man. Columbus knew exactly where he was going, y'all. He knew exactly where he was going. That's another article I wanted to pull from real quick to make some points clear. That's doing diverses. Let me move forward with that other article I had. Yeah, right here. Later years, proving he knew. This is just a piece of evidence to prove he knew he was going to India Superior. He knew he was going to the land of Prester John. He knew the Indians was Negroes. He knew they spoke in Hebrew. He knew all of this. Later years, the Book of Prophecies and the Final Voyage. This is about Arnold K. Garr, and this is on rsc.byu.edu. Look, Christopher Columbus, a Latter-day Saint perspective. Arnold K. Garr. I pointed out that for the execution of the journey to the Indies, I was not aided by intelligence, by mathematics, or by maps. It was simply the fulfillment of what Isaiah had prophesied. Let's stop right there. Who prophesied? Why did you go to the West Indies? Why, or the East Indies, or India Superior, whatever y'all want to call it, whatever you want to title it? Why did you go there, Columbus? Seeing that you didn't need intelligence, you claim. See, so right now, he's such a liar. Whatever he's saying is the opposite. I pointed out that for the execution of this journey to the Indies, I was aided by intelligence, by mathematics, and by maps. It was my main motive was the fulfillment of what Isaiah had prophesied. He talking about the Holy Land, the Promised Land, Prester John. He talking all of this right now in his diaries. Christopher Columbus, even though he returned to Spain in chains and was replaced as governor of the New World, Christopher Columbus used the time he had in Spain between his third and fourth voyage to meditate and the events of his life on the events of his life. The circumstances of his latest arrival at court were an obvious contrast to the tremendous rush of fame he had experienced on his first return. Whereas the monarchs had once praised and embraced him, the Spanish crown was now gracious but evasive. Morrison 2:3-11 Having been dismissed from his position as governor of the New World, Columbus set about searching the scriptures and the writings of great philosophers for evidence of his role in the fulfillment of divine destiny. He never published the results of his research, but the manuscript was published in Rome in 1892 to 94 by Caesar de Lolis as part of an Italian collection of documents entitled Raccolta di Documenti, a study pubblicati dalla Commissione Colombiana per quarto centenario delta scoperto dell'America. It was not published in English until in 1991, and interestingly enough, two separate translations appeared that year. The Libro de las Profecias of Christopher Columbus by Delano C. West and August King, and Christopher Columbus' Book of Prophecies by K. Brigham. Christopher never put a title on his manuscript, but his introductory statement outlined two interrelated purposes for his preparing the work. First, it contained prophecies concerning the final recovery of Jerusalem from Muslim rule and the restoration of the ancient temple. Now peep this. He was trying to recover Jerusalem from Muslim rule. Okay, that's what they saying, huh? Prester John was a legendary so-called Christian. He wasn't no Christian patriarch. He was a patriarch. He wasn't no Christian. He was Israelite. Presbyter and king. Stories popular in Europe in the 12th to 17th centuries told an historian patriarch and king who was said to rule over a Christian nation. So-called, it was Israelite nation. Israel. Lost amid the pagans and Muslims in the Orient, India Superior. Lost amongst pagans and Muslims. What did they just tell you? What did they just tell you? Let's go back. It contained prophecies concerning the final recovery of Jerusalem from Muslim rule. Jerusalem from Muslim rule. Israelite lost amid the pagans and Muslims of the Orient, India Superior. Can't you connect these dots? You can't see the dots, my nigga. Tribe up, my nigga. I hope y'all connecting these dots. I hope y'all with me. It ain't that hard. Cayenne in the house, tribe up, salute. It ain't that hard to put it together, especially when I'm giving it right to you. So-called Christian nation. It was an Israelite nation. Lost amid the pagans and Muslims in the Orient, in India Superior. In the Orient, India Superior, Managa. In India Superior, Managa, La Florida, Managa. Columbus said, I'm trying to get India Superior back. We trying to recover India Superior, Jerusalem, the Holy Land, from the Muslim rule.
You big dummy.
Now they can't lie to you when you know the truth. They can lie all they want. They put these fake images and shit. I'm just gonna stamp the real right on top of it. They can get mad. They can lie, they can hate, they can try to shadow ban, they can try to block the message, they can cut the stream off early. It don't matter. You can do all that. Colonize it don't matter. It don't matter. The truth gonna be told. And there's too many of us know the truth. There's too many of us know the truth. We ain't gonna get distracted. We ain't gonna let no haters slow us up. None of that shit. There's too many of us know the truth. Undisputed truth in the house. Tribe, but salute. Yeah, cause Undisputed Truth was talking about the breakdown of the name. Yeah, I ain't gonna do that one. Cootie Mayo just did that. Cootie Mayo just did a breakdown on the Columbus name. You know what I'm saying? I ain't no content jacker. You know what I'm saying? I already knew about the lies from the colonist lies and all this, but I like the way Cootie Mayo broke it down in his video, and I support other content creators that's doing their thing. So my advice would be to go check out Cootie Mayo videos. I give props what props is due. Cootie Mayo put it. I don't know if Cootie Mayo put it down first, but he probably put it down the best as far as the, he just dropped the video maybe a day or two ago. I checked it out on my spare time. I suggest everybody go check out Cootie Mayo video on Columbus. Salute, tribe up, so-called Columbus, right? But we know all this stuff, including our titles, is under hijack So we use the titles that everybody gonna grasp. Like, you know, if we titled the video with Christopher Columbus' real name, a lot of people might not click on it because they might not know what we're talking about. So we put his hijack name because boom, right away everybody was like, oh, Christopher Columbus, oh, discovered the new world. They knew who we're talking about, right? Then you break it down in the video later about who he is, and that's why I use terms like Native Americans when I want to. I know what I'm doing. Like some people say, you should use that, you should use this. Hey, sometimes you got to draw the people in with whatever the algorithm gonna push. You know, the word Native American might get pushed more than the word indigenous or aborigine. So beware. You know what I'm saying? Don't eat, eat the meat, spit out the bones. You know what I'm saying? When you get into the show, you'll see where it's going. Hey, but that's what I got for y'all today, man. That article we just read, it popped up on my the basis of the show. This article, if you want to go check it out, it's from The Guardian. This article came out yesterday. Yeah, September 30th. So it came out yesterday. I decided to do a show on it today. Yeah, September 30th. So it's a fresh new article. Came out September 30th. Donna Ferguson. Go check that one out. Even though it got the hijack in it, eat the meat, spit out the bones. We know this ain't us. We know they can't be us. They know they want to be us. All these pale faces. A picture full of pale faces. Try, boy. And I'm Blackjack. This House of Cons, man. We out, man. Catch y'all next time. Peace.